research project 3, assignment 3 by Kyle Lazowski. My first objective was to define the shooting, fouls and work rate during both games that I analysed. The performance criteria being compared in this investigation was shooting. The definition of shooting is aiming at a specific target with a ball, such as a goal or a basket. The rule break being compared in this investigation was fouls. The fouls and misconduct are penalised by either a direct or indirect free kick. There are 10 offences that result in a direct free kick, including kicking, tripping or pushing an opponent. Indirect free kicks are given more infringements, such as a goalkeeper picking up a back pass or throwing, or for impeding an opponent. Direct free kicks are given for offences that are committed by a player in their own penalty box and are awarded as a penalty kick. The movement pattern being compared in this investigation is work rate. The work rate is the amount of energy expended in a sport or physical activity. My second objective was to design a notational analysis system to compare two performances by the national men's football team England. This figure 1, was an image of my tagging window from Dartfish. The top headings are events in this image, and then below this are the continuous events. For example, the headings, type, area, success, etc. And the keyword buttons are all the little buttons like the Joe Hart button, Nathaniel Klein, etc. These buttons help me analyse the events during the game. My third objective was to compare the shooting, fouls and work rate of England football team and Harry Kane. Here you can see the shooting success against the area in the game versus Italy for Harry Kane. So it shows the unsuccessful and successful shots and the type of shot that they were ranging from. And here's the second one, England versus Germany, area versus success, showing the successful shots and the unsuccessful in different areas of the pitch. The fourth objective was to analyse two performances of England's shooting, fouls and Harry Kane's work rate during their friendly matches against Germany and Italy. Here in the discussion section of my research project booklet, you can see these. It shows me discussing about the analysis of the two performances of the shooting, fouls and work rate in both the games. You can also see this in my research project work booklet 2. Next I'll be talking about the strengths in my research project. So my first strength was the data was collected by Dartfish. This was one of the main strengths because having Dartfish collect all the data made it a lot more reliable and quicker for me, because then I didn't have to write down all of the shots, fouls, or the times Harry Kane was jogging, sprinting or walking. Also doing this, it made it much easier because I made buttons on Dartfish. Once I learned how to do it, it was a lot easier than having to write down every time he took a shot or who took a shot. Also doing this on Dartfish allowed me to keep it safe on one specific drive, and it wouldn't get lost anywhere, making it a lot more reliable for me, and I could come back, save where I was at, and come back to continue on my work. Another strength of my project was I completed it in good timing. Getting all my work done on time and not having to rush it made it a lot more reliable for me, because if I was rushing I wouldn't be fully concentrated, so I would have missed parts of the project and would have had unreliable results. Also, completing it in good time and allowed me to go back and watch every game a second time, just in a more sped up version, because this made it more accurate and my results more reliable, because it allowed me to get a second chance at looking at all my results, and if I missed anything I could add them in, making my results more reliable and my overall project a lot more reliable. Another strength of my project was I was very fond of the sport, as I've always played football, so I didn't have to learn about all the fouls or shots taken, so I'd know where the shot would be and if it was a foul. Also, being well known to the sport made it a lot easier for me when watching it, because if I didn't know the sport and didn't really enjoy the sport, I would have got bored, and then that would have destroyed my concentration levels. So then I would have maybe missed parts where maybe a foul had taken place, because I wouldn't have been fully concentrated. Also, if I did another sport like netball, I may not know what a foul is in netball, and that would have made my my results a lot less reliable, because if a foul did take place but I didn't really understand that it did, I would have missed that within my results, and that would have made my results less accurate and less reproducible. The weaknesses of my project was it was my first time using Dartfish, so I did make a few mistakes on the way whilst using it, because just through confusion, as it was my first time using the system, it was hard for me to get used to at the start. Like, I made the keyword buttons wrong at the start and they weren't working. However, I was able to come back and fix this. So using it for the first time made it hard for me. And at the start I missed things like I missed a couple fouls because I couldn't use the button correctly, but luckily, because I did have enough time, I came back and watched it a second time and then corrected these in the second time watching the matches. Another weakness of my sport was of my project was Harry Kane wasn't always on the screen, because he was up top, and when the opposition were attacking, I wouldn't be able to see if Harry Kane was walking, sprinting or jogging. This would have made my results less reliable, because during this time I did switch off the button because I did not see what he was doing, but I could have presumed that he was walking. However, this would have made my work rate less reliable, because I didn't have a camera focused on him the whole time, which would make my my final results less accurate. Finally, the final weakness I analysed was I was only able to analyse 2 fixtures due to timing. Therefore, Harry Kane could have had an off game or a game where he was at his best of his game. Therefore, only doing 2 fixtures would have made my results less reliable, because I'd have to presume that his work rate was like this for the rest of his matches. However, if I did have more time, I could make my results more accurate and film more fixtures and analyse more on Dartfish. The future recommendations for my project was I would carry on using Dartfish, because once I did get the grasp of things, it was a lot easier to record. Also, Dartfish allows you to just click create buttons, which makes your allows you to do your project a lot quicker. Also, using Dartfish, it makes it more reliable because you can save it and you're not going to lose any work, and it's not going to slow you down, because if you was writing it down, you're going to have to pause the game whilst you write down the thing instead of just clicking a simple button. Also, I'd carry on to complete the work on time. As I said, creating it on time allowed me to go back and watch it again, making my results more accurate. I'd also analyse the same sport, football, because this was a sport I know very well, so it would have made my results a lot more accurate, as I was very well known to the sport. However, in the future I would change a few things, like I'd get more performance criteria to analyse, because I was only doing shooting and fouls, and these did not occur very often. So therefore, sometimes I would have been off the ball because a shot or a foul hadn't taken place in so long. So if I analysed the performance criteria like passing, I would have had to be a lot more concentrated and on the ball, because a lot more passes take place during football matches. Therefore, I'd have more results to analyse. In the future, I'd also watch the games more than twice, because this would give me a chance to make my results more reproducible and reliable, because, as I said before, Harry Kane could have had a off game or a game where he was at the best of that he could play. Therefore, watching more games allows me to get a better overview of the England football team and Harry Kane's performances for England. Also, getting more games to analyse would allow me to watch games against other opposition where they'd have to change their tactics, like maybe England have to counter-attack against a team like Spain, who are very possessive with the ball. So when they're coming forward with the ball and England do intercept the ball, they'd have to run forward and counter-attack them. This could be a game that a lot more fouls could take place, Spain having to foul England whilst they're on the counter-attack. And finally, the developments on my project would be, I'd watch games from other seasons where England have played in, maybe from the 2014 World Cup, and then a friendly the next season, see how the changes in the squad and like the effects of these. Maybe they've got new wingers, like now we've got Hudson-Odoi coming through, therefore watching the difference between him and a former winger like Danny Welbeck, you can see the effects of this. And this will allow me to witness the improvements or differences within the tactics of England's football. They could be using their wings a lot more and then crossing the ball into Harry Kane. This would allow me to have a better overdraft of England's style of play. Another development would be, once again, add more performance criteria, because it would allow me to concentrate more, because I'd have to write down a lot more performance criteria and therefore get more results, which would make my research project look better. And finally, I'd analyse, once again, different games against different opposition, because I'd be able to see the differences in the fouls and shots against different style of plays and teams, like very tricksy players like Brazilians. I'd imagine England were to give away a lot more fouls against an opposition like this than they would a slow starting team like Slovenia or Slovakia, where you'd expect England to win and dominate most of the game. Thank you for listening.